Yo. What's up? It's me. It's Key. We're back. We're in the building with another 7200-second podcast with me and my guy, Coach Dante. What is going on, Dante? What is going on?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Can't wait. Another NFL weekend this weekend. I'm ready to get started, man. Ready to get started. Let's get it right.
And y'all know it's the hottest topic in 7200 seconds. And we got a special guest on today, my guy AK Uncensored. Over there, he is one of the Eagles content creators. What's going on, AK?
Yo, what's going on, Key? What's going on, Coach? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
What's up, AK?
No problem. So we're just going to pretty much run it down. I got some topics here. Just going to go over. So we're going to get into it. Let's recap the Monday Night Football game that's coming on tonight. Again, we got the Patriots taking on the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Patriots has been hot. They got a hot hand definitely going into the Bills. Now, I've been hearing it's about to be a blizzard up there. So we don't know if the snow is going to affect anything, but both teams are used to the cold because of Buffalo and New England. They used to getting that cold weather and that snow. So Dante, what do you think about this game? Because this game right here can tell who's going to be, if the Patriots are going to be solely number one in the AFC race, or how do you think about this game? What's going to happen?
You know what? Bill Belichick remind me of Nick Saban. I mean, you can never count these guys out, especially Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. Them the only two coaches you actually can never count out in anything you do. Anytime you play against them, when you think you got the upper hand against them, when you think it's finally their year that they're going to fall, they will always find a way to make the right adjustments as coaches. And in this game, you're looking at, as far as where Buffalo start off, they start off hot. As far as you start off with New England, where they started off slow this year, I believe at 2-5. Then all of a sudden they get on the run. That defense gets on the run. Matthew Judon has been very good for that defense. J.C. Jackson has been a very good corner since Stephon Gilmore was traded to the Panthers. Kyle Van Noy is a veteran over there. We got a lot of guys that's over there. You even got our boy Jalen Mills over there balling out in that Bill Belichick system. So, again, man, that defense is tough. Matt Jones tending to be probably the best quarterback to come out this draft. Not forward. I think Justin Fields is going to be a little more better going forward in the future. But this year, Matt Jones has been the best out of all quarterbacks. Samaje Stevenson been good as a running back. Right. I mean, Kendrick Bourne as a receiver has been impressive as well. Hunter Henry and Juju Smith. I mean, not Juju Smith-Schuster, but Jonnu Smith has been very good for this very good key weapons for these Bill Belichick. So, again, I got the Patriots winning this game 30-17. I'm rolling with the hot hand. I think the Patriots are going to win this game. They always find a way. To win when you count them out. And Buffalo's been struggling lately. Josh Allen has not been the same. Neither is this offense. They don't run the football that much. They rely on passing. So Bill Belichick, one thing he does, he does a great job of taking stuff away from you, taking digs, taking your best receiver away from you. He does a great job of that. So I got the Patriots tonight.
Okay, what do you think about this game?
You know, Dante, I love all your points, man. I really do. Because there's one thing I know about Bill Belichick is he wants to even the odds of this Brady-Belichick conversation. You know, that has always been the question. Did Brady make Tom or did Tom make Brady? Or did Tom make Belichick or did Belichick make Brady? You know, one or the other. Well, right now you have the Patriots tied for first, you know, and they have an opportunity to take it solely tonight. And if any coach knows what that means more than anyone, that's Bill Belichick, correct? So, you know, definitely look for him to have his team on point tonight. You know, they're not going to make mistakes. Bill's been here plenty of times, you know. And you make a valid point. I did not see Mac Jones being as good as what he is. I was kind of harsh on the kid. But you know what? Bill Belichick knows how to coach quarterbacks. That's facts. I mean, he's proving it. And this defense is scary. Like you said, Judon, dude, he's a beast. Like that kid is amazing. I love watching him play. So, and they got Mills playing good, and then JC, and yeah, this team all around. Bill's done a nice job rebuilding it. So, yeah, I'm gonna roll with you. I think New England takes this one, 28-21.
I'm definitely gonna keep rolling with the high hand. Mac Jones probably was one of the best QBs to come out this draft. Perfect guy for a Bill Belichick system. Not saying he reminds me of Brady, but just his demeanor, and he's not a good mobile quarterback, but he's good in the pocket, and he makes good decisions. So I mean, for a rookie, he hasn't been too bad. Now, do I have him on top of Rookie of the Year right now? I do. In the beginning, it was Jamar Chase. Now I'm leaning towards Mac Jones in this category. But I got not Buffalo. I got the Patriots winning this game. They trying to make it out the AFC East to be the number one team. And it definitely, what happens. Playoffs go through Foxborough. It's really hard to beat the Patriots in Foxborough, especially with this weather coming. Like Joel said, shout out to Joel in the chat. It's going to be a lot of running game, and both teams don't really run the ball like that, but they're going to have to bring it with Singletary, Zach Moss, and the running backs for Patriots. Was it Stevenson? And
Stevenson.
And they're going to have to run with them. So it should be interesting, but we got my guy.
I'll take Stevenson.
Tayrock is in the building. Mm-hmm. Oh, he was in the building. He left the building, but he'll be back in. But definitely, I got the Patriots winning this game. So around across the board, we got the Patriots winning this game. A little bit of topics I wanted to bring up, not too heavy. Big Ben finally retiring at the end of the season. Hold on, let me get Tayrock in here. Got my guy Tayrock in here. Tayrock, what's going on?
I gotta click back out. I can't hear y'all.
I
gotta click back out and come back in.
All right.
Okay. Big Ben, he's finally going to retire at the end of the season. Do you think it's time? And what is Pittsburgh's replacement plan going to be, Dante?
You'll have to figure out what you got in Haskins or Rudolph. I mean, if you're not sold on the quarterback in this draft, I mean, what other free agency quarterback that you think you might can get out there? That's the only way I see it. But unless you want to develop Dwayne Haskins and Mason Rudolph, who threw the ball 50 times against the Detroit Lions, had no business throwing the ball that much against no Detroit Lions team. Unless you're gonna develop them and have faith in them. Or you want to go out in free agency and get a quarterback on the open market. That's the way I see it, because in this draft this year, I actually don't see GMs jumping up to really get a quarterback that much like that. I don't think this quarterback class is too strong, so you won't see too many trades up in the draft just to get rushing up to get a quarterback. So right now, I mean, it depends on how this front office handle it. You either got free agency or you got Haskins and you got Mason Rudolph. You got Mason Rudolph that you got right now. So that's the option. The plans you can go with if you're Pittsburgh. You can look at.
AK?
Yeah, no, I think it's about time. My wife is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I've been telling her whole problem has been him the last 2 years. He's getting up there in age. His arm is not what it used to be. And it's good that he's moving on, because he was holding this team back. He really is. And I don't know, man. I have a feeling they'll address it in the offseason during free agency. Maybe possibly, I don't know, someone like Kirk Cousins.
It's not a bad option. We heard that. We heard that. We've been hearing about that. It's not a bad option. Kirk Cousins.
What QBs will be coming out the draft this year? Joe saying he should come out the draft and have him sit. But okay, so if Pittsburgh drafts a QB, who is going to take the reins until they're ready for this QB?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so important. You gotta get someone out of free agency, or you got to look at Rudolph, or you got to look at Haskins. You got to look. There's got to be an option for you if you're going to get a
Maybe
quarterback.
Jimmy G.
Yeah, or Jimmy G. This is his last year. Maybe you can make a deal. You can make a deal and get Jimmy G. Maybe you can make a deal and do something with Jimmy G. But Pittsburgh have to figure out something. If you're going to get a quarterback in the draft, I don't think they will gamble in the early rounds. I think they probably do it in the middle rounds at some point to get a quarterback. But it's either you got Haskins or you got Mason Rudolph, or you get a quarterback in free agency. You trade for Jimmy G. Or you try to go for Cousins, whichever one. You got plenty of options. You got plenty of times to address stuff from now on up. They know what they're gonna do, so you gotta address it. That's the one thing you gotta address, and that's the one thing people is gonna ask about, and analysts is gonna ask about. What will Pittsburgh do? Will they get one in the draft free agency, or where they put Haskins out there, or where they just put Rudolph out there? But you're going to draft the quarterback, you got to make sure you have a plan. You have a legit plan, or you're going to get a veteran to play. You got to make sure that.
Tayrock. So Big Ben's retiring. What do you think Pittsburgh's game plan is? Do they draft a QB? Do they find one for a year rental? Like, what do you think?
Well, when I walked in, basically, I'm saying coach was over there basically breaking it down the best way he could, and I kind of agree with him. I say maybe like second round, I'm saying trade for a veteran quarterback that can basically manage the game and win you some games. You get a caliber. I'm not saying Ryan Fitzpatrick, but get a caliber guy like that can manage and win games. You never know. Matt Bryan could go over there. You just never know who they could possibly get. But it all depends who they willing to give up to get a quarterback that can actually win them games. That's the thing. Are you willing to give up key pieces to get a quarterback to win y'all games? Because especially if you want like a good quarterback. Okay, Jimmy G, cool. Speaking of Jimmy G, you're not going to get too much for him, but the 49ers not going to give him up for nothing, because that's my team. You know, they're not going to give him. They not just going to give him up for nothing, because we basically got him for a steal. But since he's actually took the team to the Super Bowl, got him to the playoffs, he's not what you call a bottom feeder quarterback. He's not an elite. He's like right in that middle area. So I could say if they trade for Jimmy G, they're going to give up either maybe a defensive lineman, maybe a linebacker, a corner or two, or it all depends if Pittsburgh goes for Jimmy G. But you just never know what could happen. You just never know with these free agents and these trades in this season. You could think one thing, then something else might happen.
That's definitely true. Let me welcome my guy Joe 3F. Classic
Joe,
3F. What's going on, Joe?
What up, Joe?
All right, so we're just talking about the the Pittsburgh and Ben Roethlisberger situation. I seen your chat, your tweet in the chat before you came on up. You saying draft a QB and then have them sit. But who do you start while you're having your QB sit?
Well, here's the thing. Andy Dalton's a free agent. Jacoby Brissett is a free agent. Marcus Mariota is a free agent. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Even Cam Newton. Teddy Bridgewater. Tyrod Taylor. There's options out there for the Steelers. Okay, and they are an aggressive team when it comes to a guy they want. They go first-round picks for Minkah Fitzpatrick. They go out, if they see a need on defense, they will give up a first-round pick to go get a guy to make that. They haven't had a losing season. So one of those guys could be a bridge quarterback, because everybody says that the quarterbacks Pickett and the kid from Liberty, Malik Willis, and they're all developmental. So if you do the Patrick Mahomes thing with them and you get a couple of these guys to come in, what if you brought in Bridgewater and Fitzpatrick, what's it going to cost you? Maybe $15 million for 1 year? You got two guys that can definitely fight for the starting position. You got a very good backup quarterback there. The Steelers can then work on their offensive line, which is a big need right now. They have the weapons. Juju's gone after this year. Maybe he comes back to the Steelers again. He tested the market last year, didn't like what he saw. His antics kind of hit his money in the free agent after last year and everything. So he's not on Twitter as much. He's trying to straighten up. But, that's just what Pittsburgh does. Mike Tomlin is a genius when it comes to some of these moves, because we question him at the Steelers like last you were what, 11-0, 12-0 at one point in time? Nobody saw that coming. But then they went on that 4-game losing skid, and they're like, oh my goodness, but that was Ben being old and with the injuries. They realized that they need something there, and they're so close to stay in that winning franchise.
I got a question. Could you guys possibly see Aaron Rodgers going there?
That's a possibility.
No. I can't see Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh.
The only reason why I say that is because Aaron Rodgers wants to win now. He's not going to go to a rebuilding team.
Yeah, if you take Devontae Adams there, though,
maybe.
Aaron Rodgers made Devontae Adams is going to want out, and plus they haven't paid Devontae Adams yet. Let's not forget that they haven't paid him yet, so he does not got a contract. And Aaron Rodgers, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to say, like if Devontae Adams wants out afterwards and he wants to go with Aaron Rodgers, then you have now Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams in Pittsburgh, and they have a great defense already, so he's not losing anything. He's actually gaining there.
Let's not forget that former Pittsburgh players, if Aaron Rodgers wants to go into TV, Pittsburgh Steelers players go into broadcasting, go into a TV base. I mean, look at Terry Bradshaw. Look at some of the other great players from Pittsburgh that have actually gone on to a pretty good, decent TV career. You don't, when you retire a Steeler, you're set for life with the Rooneys and the Rooney name.
Don't rule out the possibility of the Denver Broncos, too, because Teddy Bridgewater is a free agent. Joe brought that up. Don't rule out a possibility of him can go to the Broncos because he can get out of the contract. I mean, I know it's a 3-year deal, but he got the deal to where he can leave if he wants to. He can decide his fate if he wants to. So, he can leave this year. After this year, he can leave if he actually wants to leave.
I could actually see Teddy Bridgewater and actually in Pittsburgh, though. That's why I was saying like that mid-tier quarterback type of situation they could have. They could get like a mid-tier.
Right. You see any one of those quarterbacks, Tayrock. You see Marcus Mariota. You see all of those quarterbacks down in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Possibility.
Pittsburgh got to get a good line, though. They really didn't have a good line. They don't really have a good line with Ben now. I mean, you let go you let go 2 of your best linemen, DeCastro and Villanueva. Ben ain't got no backup, and Najee Harris can't really run with the line they got.
I mean, plus, if you think about it too, Pittsburgh's generally a pocket cornerback team. I mean, they did have what was his name? Kendall or the quarterback from early 2000s.
Cordell Stewart.
Thank you. They had Cordell Stewart, and he was he was like the only scrambling quarterback they've ever had. Everyone else has pretty much been a pocket quarterback. So they don't.
Besides Dobbs, but Dobbs was a running quarterback, but he was always hurt and never really played like that.
Yeah, but that's what I mean though. They generally favor the pocket quarterback though in Pittsburgh.
We got my guy Jay Boogie Backyard Birds podcast. What's going on?
Oh,
what's up?
What's up?
You had Charlie Batch for a little while.
Don't forget they had Seneca Wallace too.
Yeah, I remember Seneca Wallace. Why I haven't heard that name in so long?
Seneca Wallace was that guy. Was that good backup everybody wanted to have.
Key, you old. Talking about Seneca Wallace. I know, I'm right up there with you.
But no, Seneca Wallace
was
that
me
guy
too.
everybody wanted. But
but if you think about it, like the prototype quarterbacks are like changing now because it was starting back in the day with like Randall and Cordell and all that with the running quarterbacks, but you didn't really see too many of them back then. Now you're seeing the NFL switch over to it more now. And just imagine if mobile quarterbacks was getting the type of shine they was getting now, if they was able to get them back then. You know how many different quarterbacks different type of quarterbacks we would have now? It would probably be a triple hybrid quarterback now if they was doing that back then.
Well, like you said, Cordell Stewart did it all. He was a running back. He was a wide receiver. He did it all.
Don't forget about the guy that played both sports, Charlie Ward. He was a quarterback and a basketball player.
Yep.
This is true. So he left. I was gonna say, he's still on, Jared. So we talking about the big Pittsburgh and the Big Ben situation. Who's going to be his backup and what's they plan while they drafted QB?
I mean, uncensored, right? Because for 8 years they had Bubby Brister and Neil O'Donnell, so they do like their prototypical pocket style quarterbacks. But
what was the quarterback they had from the XFL? Tommy Maddox. Was it Maddox?
Yeah,
Tommy Maddox. Yeah, that was
Yeah, Tommy Maddox too.
Yeah, hold up, isn't that the Tommy Maddox that came back on that Houston Oilers team or that Buffalo team? When they was down like 31-3 at halftime, and then they came back.
That wasn't that was Frank Wright.
Frank Wright. Yeah. I knew it was one of them quarterbacks.
That was him that did that.
Of course, it was Frank Wright.
Right, but they had Todd Blackledge, they had Bubby Brister, they had Mike Tomczak.
I remember. Dang,
all general pocket quarterbacks.
Exactly. Jim Miller was there for like a year.
Yeah.
Wow. Tomczak the Bettis. I remember hearing that a lot. Wow. Oh my! You took it back with that one. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm showing my age. I
remember hearing
you older than dirt.
I witnessed the Miracle in the Meadowlands. Watched it live on television. That's
something that actually.
Right? Yeah.
That's actually something to actually witness. It's like you can actually see that now. It's like you have to see that, like the highlight, actually see it when it's happening. That's crazy. Like I wish I could see like certain moments.
My father, that
it's on videotape, right?
I ran from the house. My father just sat there for like an hour after that play happened. Didn't move. I left the house. I went and played with friends. I was watching the game with him, cheering the Giants, Yay, let's go. We're going to the playoffs. My mother's all excited, and all of a sudden, Herm Edwards. Gone. I was smart.
And then Deshaun Jackson did twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to live through both of them.
Yeah. Oh man, I had to live through Cunningham days and
yeah. Well, I'm just happy I got to
kicked your ass a lot, didn't we?
Hey, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Damn it.
Jared, what you think about the Ben Roethlisberger situation? He's retiring. Who you think's going to take the helm until Pittsburgh finds a quarterback?
I don't know, man. That's a hairy situation right there. I don't know. They might get one from the draft. I mean, they're not that great, but I think they'll get one. Either that or they'll pull one, like you guys were talking about earlier. Like maybe off the market.
Okay.
I don't know. I could really see Pittsburgh. I mean, they wanted Dan Marino, but didn't out of Pitt. I could see Pickett coming out of Pittsburgh going to the Steelers. He's that type of quarterback that they love.
Yeah.
Big arm.
Yeah, I can see that. And he's from Pittsburgh, so you might as well.
Exactly. He's going to sell tickets.
He did that fake slide. That joint was crazy.
Yeah.
All right,
that would probably be their smartest bet.
Basically,
he's probably a Pittsburgh fan too, so
you never know. He might have grew up watching Roethlisberger.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. He might be a Pittsburgh fan anyway. It's probably his dream.
Matt Ryan's still got 2 years on his contract, Damian. There's no way Pittsburgh's going to fit that contract in there.
Yeah,
no.
Not with needing an offensive line and some other.
They might make him retire early.
He might as well stay in Atlanta for all that and know his offensive line. But anyway, so we're moving on from the Big Ben. So, I mean, a lot of things is happening with the rule changes and the refs. We didn't see the refs call some games, calling some bad calls, plays. Let's take, for instance, let's just use the Raiders in Washington game last night. Down to the end, it was 37 seconds left. The Raiders get that incomplete pass. Okay, second pass, they completed it. Derek Carr immediately is calling timeout. Nobody, they didn't look at it. They put 10 seconds back on the clock. And I'm like, wait a minute. There should be more than 10 seconds on the clock. It should at least be 15, about 16 seconds left for them. And I feel like I can't just solely blame it on that, but I feel like this caused them maybe a chance to get them on field goal range. Should something happen with the rule changes like this, or something that maybe they can challenge? Because I feel like that should have been a challenge. Like, even the commentators is like, it should be more than 10 seconds left on this clock. So we're not just talking about this game. We're talking about the taunting and the PIs and the roughing the passer. Should those be tweaked and changed? I know they're catering to the quarterback now. Should it go back to, back when, we was able to hit the quarterback? Or what do you think, Dante? What do you think about these rules now?
It's flag football rules, and I don't like these rules one bit. They hard-earned money not to play flag football, just to play physical tackle football. You gotta literally make a perfect hit on a quarterback. You gotta literally hit shoulder to shoulder, or hit them in their chest. It's hard to do that. That's not easy to do, especially when you're coming up being aggressive. That's not easy to do. So you basically, then you can't take out anybody's legs. You rarely can go low on anybody. So which one you want to do? I guess they might well go out there and two-hand touch, pay money to two-hand touch somebody, or hug and kiss somebody, whatever. I mean, this is not the football I'm used to, but they should challenge stuff like the pass interference penalties or holding penalties, because that was definitely a holding penalty. It was kind of one of those slick holding penalties that you kind of don't see, because you can see the DB holding the guy, grabbing the guy's jersey to make the give himself leverage to look up at the football. You can see him grabbing the jersey like this, and it's giving himself leverage to look up at the football. That's how he saw the football, because if he didn't do that, if he was running stride for stride, he would have kind of panicked. He would have panicked. They would have had no choice but to call it. But by him grabbing his jersey and pulling it a little bit to what the ref can't see it, because I didn't think the ref seen that, because it was slick. It was slick on his edge, and if I'm a cornerback, I that's good for me, because the ref not seeing it. As long as the ref don't see it, then I'm good. So that was kind of one of those little slick holding calls with the ref. I don't think the ref even saw, and maybe him
dirty
as leverage to go up and just make a play on the ball and keep his head up on or keep pull his head around. So again, I think the refs should challenge that stuff like that, pass interference, holding penalties, personal fouls, like they do in college. They challenge ton penalties. I mean, not ton penalties, but taunting, like targeting. Me and Joe saw that the other day against the Iowa. They challenged that. Why not do that?
Yep.
Joe, what you think about the refs and these rule changes? Should it change? To go back? What you think?
I'm going to bring a different light to this, and this isn't what I think. This is just what I want to bring to the subject. Back when I was watching football, what we call real football, there was no instant replay. There was none of this modern technology. There was no targeting a defenseless wide receiver. I understand why the rule changes. I understand they're trying to do it for a player's safety. This CTE, we're only starting to get very little info from it, because unfortunately to diagnose it, you have to be dead, because they have to slice your brain up to find out if you have CTE. Right. We don't know how that's really affecting the players. So I understand the rule changes, and at least they're trying to do something for player safety. Now, as far as the refs, do you guys remember when we had the scrub refs? When those guys filled in because the refs went on strike, and we were all just screaming for the regular refs to come back. Let's remember those days. Okay, now look, there's a human element involved into it, and it's football. We have suffered for bad calls since the beginning of this game, since the time started back in the 20s when football was just growing. There's been bad calls. You know what? For me, bad calls is a part of a football game. Because we can look at the Saints with all the bad calls they've had in the NFC Championship games. Look at some of the great plays from the Vikings had. Let's look at the immaculate reception back when the Steelers. That was one of the most controversial plays at the time. It still is a controversial play because we will never know if that ball hit. There's only two people know if that ball hit the ground, and one of them's the guy that caught it, Franco Harris. And the other was the other guy that was, and there was an illegal penalty on that play also from the Steelers, so the touchdown should have been negated. But because we didn't replay it, because we didn't bring it back and shed light on it, we let the human element develop into this game. It has to stay in there. Because at football, you start changing the human element, it's all robotics, and there's no way you're going to please everybody but by sitting here and making the game an hour and a half longer because you're reviewing every play. Let's leave the human element in it. Let's have the bad play calls. You know what? Sometimes the ball goes our way. Sometimes it doesn't. It's part of the game. But that's me.
AK?
I agree with everything Joel said. The only thing that I completely am more against than anything are the pass interference calls. We all know that football is a competitive and physical sport. Okay? What if they're both fighting, going down the sideline, cornerback and wide receiver, then let them just fight, to a reasonable extent, because you have your blatant PI calls. You do. You notice them. But there's ones that they call, it's so damn ridiculous. I'm like shaking my head sometimes. Like, you're kidding, right? Like, this is dumb. Why even call something like this? Because you see the wide receiver fighting with his hands and the corner's fighting with his hands. It's part of the game. That's what they do. They're physical, So it's like, to a point, we have to realize they have to realize as refs that we got to stop being so harsh. It's part of the game. It's what the game was built on, and sometimes you just kind of, I get the safety part, like Joel said, but don't take the physical aspect of the game out.
Yes.
Like, you can have safety, but also be physical.
Yes.
Tayrock?
So.
Well, like Coach Dante said, I played cornerback as well. It's like, don't get me wrong. When you're a defensive player, you love to hit somebody. That's your job. You want to tackle.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can't even, you get the slightest of a helmet. Your face mask could barely touch the quarterback's top of his helmet. It's roughing the passer. Like, your face mask could barely, like, the skin that's like the side of a helmet, and it's like roughing the passer. Okay, if you're I can understand when back in the day with Lawrence Taylor and all the people said the quarterback get injured. Like I said, I agree with the safety stuff, but like, don't let a PI be the call of a game, because sometimes them calls can mess up a real chance for a team to win a game, and it's like. You would throw, like, say I'm the quarterback and I throw a pass down to my wide receiver, knowing that the cornerback is already beat. Because Aaron Rodgers, he's like the greatest at it. Like, soon as like a offensive penalty, a defensive penalty, he free play, he's going to throw it down the field. I've actually seen a free play like that when somebody was chasing a wide receiver down and still got called for a pass interference on a free play. I said, "Yo, this is crazy." Now. The only thing I don't like is don't make one of them calls the deciding factor of a game. Let the two teams play it out. Let that be the deciding factor. And some of these calls, they don't call. The biggest call a lot of refs don't call is the holding call up front. You know how many holding calls be missed up front? It's ridiculous. Like, this past weekend, like this last weekend, I didn't see like over 50 holding calls that was missed. Oh, that was just missed. And it's hard sometimes to see them because there's so much going on in the trenches. There's so much going on. But if you can't even go, then one call that killed me is when I think it was the game last night or before, when the corner went down the line. Remember the Washington game when the Raider guy tried to come up and the offensive line from Washington. Legs got cut from under them. They called that a foul. I mean, what is that little cornerback going to do? What is he going to do to the offensive lineman? He's twice his size. He's not going to run through him. He's trying to get around him each way he can. So he went low to try to stop the play from what was happening. You can't really call that. That's just like a lineman playing quarterback, and offense, I center playing quarterback and a D-back tackling him, and you call him roughing the passer. That's like why?
Yeah, I didn't like that call either.
Yeah.
But you could legally, technically, you could call a holding penalty on every play in an NFL football game.
Yeah,
you really could.
That's true.
I mean, ain't no way in the world if I'm trying to make a tackle, I'm gonna try to get through. I'm gonna go heads up with a damn 370-pound lineman.
You ain't winning that.
I'm not winning.
I gotta go at you.
I'm losing that fight 100 times out of 100. Especially I got no choice but to go low. Go low. Now, if we was alone and me and the running back was alone, yeah, I hit him straight up. I'm not trying to go low on him. It just depends on how big he is. But you mean to tell me I gotta go run through a block, run through a 375-pound lineman just to tackle somebody and trying to stop a play? Now I would go low like that too. And see, that's the thing that frustrates me. Like Tayrock said, he's a cornerback, but it's safety. That's where you get more of the harsh calls at. You see a guy run up the middle, what you like to knock his ass out, but you're afraid that any time you hit him hard on the landing, the flag is gonna come out. You literally got to shoulder block him or put your helmet in his chest, a perfect hit for the ref not to call. That'd be hard. That'd be hard to stop your aggressiveness and running full speed to try to break up a play. That's hard to stop. That's hard to stop your momentum.
Especially if they coming in and they momentum and they know that they can't do it. They try to let up and they still get called for it. It's because they know they can't do it. Clay Matthews was the always get called for roughing the passer. Back when it first started, when he was with Green Bay, he always got the rougher the passer. I'm like, where is this roughing the passer at? Like I don't understand it.
You ain't even gotta hit him. You could push the quarterback. You could push the quarterback and they could call roughing the passer. Now you don't even gotta hit him. You could just push him.
Yeah, no, you know where that went bad? I think I was watching a game last year, no lie. The defensive end came around. The offensive line did a good job keeping him away, but the guy reached out, and no lie, he just tapped the guy's helmet with his hand. Tapped his helmet with his hand, just going by. And granted, you know how they're swinging their arms while they're running. You don't always control them or see what you're hitting, but the lineman was protecting him, and he just tapped the dude on his helmet with his hand. They called it a roughing the passer. I'm like, are you kidding me? Is this what we've got to now? He just can't. What's his hand going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh my God. I can remember back in the day watching Deacon Jones. That was his move coming off of the line. For the Rams. Right. He hit high in the helmet.
I don't want to get hit by Deacon Jones. I'm sorry. You're not going to smack me in the head 1,000 times.
Dude, that was his move. He had clubs on his hand, man. He just wham.
If I was the quarterback playing against Deacon Jones, I would have invented that real short, fast passing real fast because I'd have been throwing slants. Oh, you're not getting to me. I'm sorry, it's not happening. Right. If you smack me in my head one more time, I'll throw this helmet at you.
Right. He would, man. I mean, look at the guys back in the day, the moves that are outlawed anymore. I can understand why a clothesline is outlawed and some of the other stuff for safety, but I'll tell you what. I really miss when NFL films would come out, biggest hits of the year.
Right.
I miss that. Now, look, I get the player safety, but damn it, you watch like Steve Atwater or Ronnie Glott or some of these great safeties and corners. Oh, man, they would lay the wood to you.
I remember Bryan Dawkins used to suplex people.
Yeah.
Hey, Joel, it's funny you say that because I actually have my VHSs still of those NFL's biggest hits back in the early 90s.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually have them. So.
You got to think of John Lynch. John Lynch was out there cracking heads back in the day.
Yeah.
People used to be scared to tackle? Mike Allstott from the Buccaneers. People would be scared to tackle him.
Jerome Bettis.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, who was the one there that led for Aikman all the way? It was Syracuse grad. He's an announcer.
Goose. Moose.
Johnson,
Moose.
Yeah.
Daryl Johnston, yep. Mm-hmm. But Green he was
dog too.
I mean, even Franco Harris was a big boy. I mean, you want to talk about somebody that reminds you of the Tennessee Titans running back there.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry. I mean, they both were the same size. I swear, watching them both run.
But yeah, no, something got to get with these calls, especially the taunting. That's part of the game. As long you're not in nobody's face calling death threats. I mean, that's part of the game. A big sack, you get excited. With that that last tournament with the Bears game, when the dude I swear he didn't even really say nothing to him, but because of the gesture, he went over there and then he backed up into the ref. Everybody was like, "Oh, he backed into the ref. That's why he got it." I mean, he got charged $5,000 for it, but I feel like taunting is ridiculous.
Well, you saw this taunting stuff coming the minute they started throwing flags if somebody said a slur.
Right.
You saw this. That's how it started. It started with that, and then it turned into taunting because the politically correct crew, I guess, got a hold of it. But it's the same penalty, really.
Right. I feel like if you're not threatening nobody or saying nothing crazy, let it go. Like it's part of it. It's definitely part of it.
It's such a judgment call.
Man, I remember they was getting penalized for celebrations after touchdowns. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like these guys can't have fun. They can't interact with the crowd. You couldn't do nothing at one point. Like, for real? Like these guys and the taunting thing that gets me is because if you think about it, back in the 80s when Miami College was playing football, that's all they did when they hit people. They stand over you all day and taunt you.
Yes.
People would be so scared to play Miami University back then because they were so much listen. Back then, I will put any college team against them because Miami would crush everybody downside of out the water. They were the team of the 80s. In college, it was Miami. In the 80s, it was San Francisco. They were the two teams in the 80s that was dominating football. It's like if I hit you, I can't look over you now. I'm gonna get flagged. If I even point at you after I hit you, I'm gonna get flagged. Like this been part of the game since it started. People gonna talk the trash. They gonna point the finger. You know what I'm saying? They gonna do their exciting moves. Just let it be. If they not fighting, what's the point? If they're not physically fighting, let it be.
Yeah, taunting is all about being one up on the mental game.
Yeah.
Because if you can get into a team's psyche, man, you can completely destroy them.
Dennis Rodman is the best at it. Dennis Rodman is the best at taunting.
Exactly. I mean, look what Cortland Finnegan did.
Yeah.
I mean, how many fistfights did that man get in because he was taunting them while he was lined up across from them?
Man,
when
look
you
at
get
the
into
Detroit
their head,
Pistons.
you can mess with them. And it's
Bill Lambier, Isaiah. Oh my God, or not Simmons. Isaiah
Thomas.
Thank you. Look at that team. Rodman was on that team.
Yeah.
Those boys were very intimidating, and it was right from the tip of it was before the tip of the ball. It was during warm-ups. Those boys would be
crazy ass Bill Romanowski. I'm sure he got in a lot of people's heads. The Oakland days. He was with Philly for a while. He was with Denver. Can you imagine?
Romanowski was
Romanowski. Line up to him on the defensive side. I'm sure he's talking mad smack to you on the line.
Oh yeah.
Look at Ray Lewis did it all the time.
I mean, if you want to go back and look at a real good, memorable physical play, I tell people all the time, go back and look at how he clothesline Ramdas up out the air. And you wasn't getting kicked out of the game for that. You wasn't getting kicked out. Them was physical, hard playoff fouls. Them wasn't just you wasn't getting kicked out of the game from none of that. Not ejected. Those are hard fouls.
Right.
Today, you blow your breath in their face. You get a foul. You get a taunting penalty. Just go back and look at that play. How he clotheslined him right up out the L, and then he fell right up on his back, and they got up and started fighting. He didn't get ejected out the game for that. That was a hard foul back in. Now. You can't do it. That's why Jordan had to buff up. He said, "Listen, I'm not gonna keep losing to these guys." Like, he had to get real physical with them because they used to beat him down. People don't realize they keep saying Jordan had help. Do y'all realize the type of league Jordan played in and dominated? Jordan would be Skywalk Jordan in this league.
Right.
Like. He was dominating when you can fight, actually going, and people was going in the crowd, Charles Speedwell, Ryan Artest fighting fans, and still coming back to the game. Like they might get ejected for that game.
Ron Artest. Oh my God. Yes.
but it's like now sports these days are becoming more kid friendly. So like the kids will see it and they think it's all okay. It's fun to play sports, but you still have that job to do to win and do your job as a professional sports player. You can't go into the NBA and say, "Yeah, I'm just going to shoot threes all day." Steph Curry does it, but Steph Curry goes to the rack too. He just don't shoot, even though he's the greatest shooter I've ever seen. But he does go to the inside when he has those chances. And so when the NFL, when I'm basically speaking back on the NFL, it's like, okay, speaking Barry Sanders, this man ain't never had a line. He had to do everything possible not to get hit. Guarantee if he would have got hit as much as the way he moved, Barry Sanders wouldn't even have lasted as long as he did.
Right.
And it was still physical back then. So I feel like now they should be a little lean on the rules. Okay, as long as you ain't smack dabbing your helmet in the quarterback's face, if you're just tackling him from like the blind side and the ball is just leaving, not already left, just leaving, it should not call a rough in the passer. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. Because if that ball is just leaving, you can still hit that quarterback.
Well, you know they catered to Drew Bledsoe when it came. Drew Bledsoe
gonna stop somebody
with going low, tearing out knees. Then that happened. Then Brady and all the other stuff. So I mean,
but you got to realize though, man, they pick and choose who they favor though, because you have to realize something. How many times has Big Ben got laid out? How many times has Big Ben got laid out over his career? Ones that were blatant rough and passer calls, and they didn't call it because he's a big dude. He can take it. But then you got a guy like Tom Brady who, is kind of like Miss Priss, and, you just touch him with your finger and it's a PI, or a rough in the passer. So it's crazy. Like they truly know which ones to do. Like you'll never probably see rough in the passer on Lamar because he's a scrambling quarterback, and usually when he's running, they're not going to call that because that's his threat. They never did it for Vic because Vic was a big man who could run, but you have these smaller guys they're always going to.
Since the quarterback runs now, you can pop them, and they won't call it now.
Yeah,
so,
but did you guys see the Pickett run where he faked the slide and then continued running? How fair is that? If you're going to act like your slide, then you know what? You shouldn't be able to do that because you're just making it that much harder for the defense. Yes. Oh, crap. This time I let him go by. I'm doing that again. He really does slide. Fair. You pop him. You got a foul. You're in a lose-lose situation.
When you slide, don't they got to get at least touched by like two hands or something like that after they slide?
The minute they slide, you're down.
You get touched and you're automatically down. I mean, if nobody touched him,
he could get back up.
Yeah, he get back up. Nobody touched him.
He didn't even. He acted like he was going to slide. He kind of leaned back
but next
run
time,
and
Joel,
then continued running.
That's going to get him killed, though, because guess what?
Oh,
These guys don't remember that. And when he comes into the NFL, good luck trying that, dude, because next time you're getting laid out, and that's going to
right.
What's funny? I was playing Madden the other day. Lamar Jackson, it was funny. I was playing against the Ravens on Madden. Lamar Jackson kind of did something similar to that. It looked like he was about to, dive, but he, stopped and spit on me. I was like, what the okay, he's really the cheat code on Madden. I was playing the video game, and he did something like that in the video game. This is how I know it's getting real. Lamar Jackson is that type of quarterback now, where he's actually showing he can pass, and he's still got them legs. He's like a Michael Vick, Randall Cunningham 2.0.
Yeah.
Jay, you got anything to say on these rule changes and everything?
Is he still here?
Are you there, Derek?
It's crazy. It's soft. It's soft. Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just think it's soft now, man. I like it when it was back in the day when everybody got hit. Don't cross the middle.
Yeah.
Randy Moss.
This shit
Randy Moss was scared of that.
Right? Yeah, there was quite a few players that were scared of that.
Well, this D-Jack got hit at the middle, and he don't go down the middle no more.
Yeah, he'll cross up top.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, back in the day, you had guys trolling like Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher, You know, and you did not go across middle on those guys because how many times did receivers get speared by Bryan Urlacher just for even going in the middle?
That's
See,
why I say
talent-wise, I like Urlacher, but personally, I ain't really like him as a man. Talent-wise, he was cool.
Yeah, no, he could play some ball.
Could you imagine what Jerry Rice's numbers would be in this league this day and age?
Oh my God, Jerry Rice!
Could you imagine?
Jerry Rice would have records that wouldn't even be. So it would have to be like 40 years for somebody to break that. Nobody has even broken his all-time receiving yards yet.
Right.
Matter of fact, does he still? He still has 122 receiving touchdowns. Nobody has even broken that yet.
He lived over the middle back in the day. He lived over the middle.
Yep.
When it was physical, that's the crazy part about it.
Yes.
But y'all seen his workout routine, you will understand why he was strong. Like this man's to run up hills with ankle weights on. Jerry Rice, his workout, and he came from a small college.
Yes. Well, Walter
Mississippi
Payton had
Valley
that
State.
hill too.
Like his workout routine was crazy. Like Jerry Rice was not playing. He was like he wanted to be better than everybody. That's why he's considered the greatest wide receiver of all time. And there's been some great wide receivers in this league.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Same with T.O. T.O. got a crazy ass, workout thing too.
See, T.O. antics messed him up. His antics messed him up. If T.O. didn't have them antics, and he was more like a locker room guy, I feel like he would have had his career was great. Yeah, he would have. Yep, he would have had a couple rings. But the thing I didn't like was when Randy Moss said he felt like he was the greatest wide receiver of all time over Jerry Rice. I said, "Guy, you were scared to come over the middle. You're known for mossing people, not coming over the middle." Okay, I'll give you top 3, top 5 wide receiver. Maybe I'll give you that, but not the greatest of all time wide receiver. Sorry, Randy Moss, I'm not giving you that. I can't do that.
Let's get into these recap of yesterday's games. There were some wild, crazy games yesterday.
I'm disappointed.
We got the Thursday night game. It was the Cowboys and the Saints. Taysom Hill, man, don't deserve that contract. That's just me. Cowboys went 27-17. The Buccaneers and the Falcons. We all knew the Bucs was going to take care of the Falcons. Tom Brady wasn't going to go down. He had a good game though yesterday. 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
300 some odd yards, 30-17. The Cardinals and the Bears. We all knew the Cardinals was going to beat the Bears. Murray came back. D-Hop was back. Chargers and the Bengals. This one surprised me a little bit. I thought the Bengals was definitely going to get the Chargers a little run, but the Chargers was like, no, we lost about 3 games in a row. So the Chargers win that game 41-22. Minnesota. I can't get Minnesota because you know why? Because every time I pick Minnesota to win, they lose, and every time I pick Minnesota to lose, they win. So
I'm not picking them alone. I'm done.
Thank you, Minnesota.
I don't think I ever picked Detroit the whole season.
Like one thing I can tell you about Detroit did get their first win yesterday on that crazy comeback drive in 2 minutes or whatever left in that fourth quarter. One thing I can tell you about Detroit competed. For them not to win no games up until this point, they competed. I mean, I think they lost. They 5 points they lost by each game. But for them to get this win, it's like they won the Super Bowl yesterday. But they should have beat the Bears, honestly. But them penalties killed them on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah. We got the Dolphins and the Giants. I mean, sorry, Joel. The Dolphins.
Sorry, buddy.
I'm hiding.
The Eagles did beat the Jets. No, Jalen Hurts. We had Garner Minshew in. Now Philadelphia fans are going crazy talking about put Minshew in. That's another topic for another day. We got the Colts beating the Texans. Damn, Dante, y'all didn't get no points.
You got the offense. The defense stay on the field too goddamn much.
Oh my God! Carson Wentz and the Colts goes in and goes 31-0. Washington beats the Raiders 15-17. Even though I think Washington shouldn't have won that game, but Raiders.
Let's get past the 49ers game. Let's get past that.
the Raiders got gypped. The Rams come back in the fashion. They wasn't going to lose 4 in a row, especially not to no Jags. 37-7. That game against the Steelers and Ravens was crazy.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews should have caught that ball. Mark Andrews should have caught that ball. He should have definitely caught that. 20-19. Sorry, your Niners lose to the Seahawks.
There's no way we should have lost that game. We should not have lost that game. Listen, listen, when we about to go into halftime, it was 23-14, and they got a field goal. Next thing you know, it was 23 up at halftime. I said, what the hell happened? And ever since then, we couldn't score. Second half, we just couldn't score. Then it was 30-23. I said, what the hell?
Going on, Jordy. Russell was like, I'm not going out like this.
You should have did it last week.
The Chiefs beat the Broncos, and that division in the AFC West is crazy, 22-9. And then we got tonight's game, but we're going to do our little favorite game here on the 17th. It's called Fact or Fiction.
I love this game. It's my game right here. I love it.
It's our little segment here. So Fact or Fiction. The Chiefs will end up with the number 1 seed. Mind you, Kansas City has 5 games, is a 5-game winning streak. If the Pats win tonight, they have a half-game lead over Kansas City and Baltimore and Tennessee. And it will be possibly a 4-way tie. Fact or Fiction, Dante, KC would be number 1 seed in the AFC.
I'm gonna go with fact. I think they in a groove right now. I think you had woken up Kansas City. Their offense probably isn't so strong because their defense is coming along. And I think teams are starting to figure out Patrick Mahomes in the offense and how they want to play now. But that defense has stepped up and shut teams down. Eric Bieniemy is a good offensive coordinator. He's gonna be a head coach someday. Probably next year in this league, Eric Bieniemy is gonna be a head coach. He'll be a good head coach to any team that's open. Steve Spagnuolo has been very good on the defensive side of the ball for this team. And I'm going to just take the facts right now. I think they're hot. I think they're peaking at the right time. And people was counting them out a lot during when they were struggling, when their deep offense couldn't score. The Patrick Mahomes was throwing in the section and stuff like that. But again, I'm gonna say fact. I think they're in the groove. I think they're in the groove. I think they gonna clinch the number 1 seed. I'm gonna go with fact with Kansas City.
AK?
I'm sorry. I'm going fiction on this one. Denver kind of shit the bed last night, dude. No lie. They had plenty of opportunities to stay in this game, and that team just did terrible on offense last night. Kansas City, they might be good on defense, but dude, offensively, they just don't look right at the moment. Even still that they're winning, that's more because of their defense, but they got to get more together, man, because they're not as high-powered as what they used to be. There's some weak spots here, and they are beatable. So, I can't sit here and say they're number 1. They got weak spots.
Tayrock.
I'm kind of iffy with this one because the Chiefs. I could say I'm kind of conflicted with both of their answers because they got valid points in both. I'm gonna say this: if they can keep this roll, I'm gonna just go with fact. If they can keep this roll going, yeah, I can see them being number 1 seed. If they lose like a game or two, it won't be. That's the only way I can explain that. Because they didn't broke it down so both ways.
I'm going to go fiction. You've got the Patriots 8-4. You've got the Chiefs that are 8-4. You've got the Ravens that are 8-4. You got the Titans that are 8-4. Then you got the Colts at 7-6. You got the Bengals at 7-5. You got the Chargers at 7-5. The Bills right now are 7-4. This is a big game for Buffalo tonight. It seems like Belichick has the Patriots back on track after last year. He's got that team clicking. Usually when you spend that kind of money in free agency, it doesn't work out. But again, for some reason, Belichick pulls a rabbit out of his hat and just gets everything clicking. There's there's 6 good teams right there, even 7 that have a chance to take over in their divisions, walk away with their divisions. Schedule is going to be a huge thing, and who can stay healthy. And right now it's fiction because I think that Belichick has the Patriots just clicking, and he can add pieces when injuries happen. He knows how to do it.
Yep.
Jay?
I'm going to say fiction because, I just don't see it. I agree with AK on, what he was saying. I just don't see him pulling through. There's something wrong with their offense. It's just not. But at the same time, they had a lot of offensive or defensive pieces out, and now they're coming back, and that's probably why they're winning on the defense. But I just don't see him crossing the finish line.
All right. So fact or fiction? Will Tom Brady get his 4th MVP?
It was fiction.
Dante? All right. Fact or fiction? Will Tom Brady win his 4th MVP? Dante.
I'm in the middle right here. There's so many people that's having a great season, that's having good seasons, though. I mean, you can make an argument for Jonathan Taylor. You can make an argument for him, for the Indianapolis Colts, who's lighting it up right now. I know Matthew Stafford ain't been on point. Kyler Murray has been very good this season. I'm gonna have to hold off. I'm gonna have to hold off on this one, and until a little bit. It's a tough answer. This is gonna be the first. This is gonna be the first one I can't answer. I can't judge it. I'm in between this one because you got Jonathan Taylor and you got Kyler Murray, who's very good as well. Was no joke, even though he has been out. So I'm going to have to hold off on this one a little bit. I'm going to have to tuck a draw. I'm going to have to throw a draw over there. I'm going to have to plead the fifth on
Joe?
Right now, I mean, my God, look how old Brady is, and he's got the most touchdowns, and the guy in second place is 7 behind him. I'm going to say fact for right now, but I'm going to agree with Coach. Kyler Murray's in there. You could add Lamar Jackson in there. I mean, if he had a better game against Pittsburgh, he would definitely be in there, but there's just been some questions to him. Dak Prescott, you could even add in there. Jonathan Taylor's having a hell of a year right now. He's just tearing up this running game. Cooper Kupp. Who is stopping Cooper Kupp right now for the Rams? Win or lose, that guy gets 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's always there. Aaron Rodgers. We all thought Aaron Rodgers in week 1. Oh no, what's happening to Green Bay when they lost to the Saints week 1? But you know what? And then tonight's a big game for Josh Allen. He could be included into that list right now. So I'm not going to say it's a guaranteed fact right now, but for right now until the end of the season, I would say he's got the slight lead. So
Tayrock?
I'm gonna say fiction because I don't want him to get it, and that's just my answer.
I don't
like Tom. I don't like Tom Brady, so I respect his game, but I don't like him. But so I just say fiction. He's not going to get it because I don't like I said, I'm not taking away from his talent and what the man does, but I just don't want him to have it. I'm surprised he don't already have 4.
Right.
I'm gonna agree with Rock on this one. I don't like him, but I think it's going to be a fact. If Tom Brady's stats are anywhere close to being the best in the NFL in QB, he's pretty much.
I don't mean to cut you off, but they favor the QBs for MVP a lot, though.
Yes.
Especially Tom Brady.
Because if you got a healthy Adams, a healthy Hopkins, and they putting up numbers, they don't even get considered.
AK frozen.
Now we can say the AK freeze. Jerry, should he get MVP? Fact or fiction? Still there, Jay?
Right,
Everybody go. I don't know.
When it froze like that, he probably got a phone call.
True. Yeah, we just going. All right, so I don't see Brady is going to get MVP, but like Tayrock said, they cater to the quarterback so much with MVP. You never seen a running back get MVP, and I really think Jonathan Taylor should get this MVP. So I'm going to say
right.
If he finished the year strong, yeah, I believe Jonathan Taylor should get it.
I'm definitely going to say fiction on this. So, fact or fiction? Mike Zimmer is in his final days with Minnesota. Dante?
He should be in his final days. He should be. I just not to say Mike Zimmer is not a great coach or not a good coach. I just think I'm gonna just go fact right here, just because I think he should be in his final days. I'm not saying he's not a very good coach. He's not a great coach. I just think his time is up in Minnesota, especially for what I saw and what we all witnessed yesterday. I think the writing is on the wall, and I think the end is near. I just think he just needs a change of scenery from Minnesota. I'm gonna go fact on that. I think the end is near for Mike Zimmer. I just think it's time for a fresh start. We all not saying he's not a good coach or a great coach. I just think he just did his time there in Minnesota. So I'm gonna go fact.
Joe?
I'm gonna go fact also. Sometimes a chain of scenery does a person really well. Let's look at Belichick. He went from the Giants to the Patriots to the Browns, or the Jets, Browns, back to the Patriots. He just needed to get his niche and get his hooks in somewhere, because when he was with the Browns, he had them in the AFC Championship game. Pete Carroll's another one. When he was with New England, he didn't do very well, but then he went to USC, and then he went up to Seattle, and he got Seattle at 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 ring. I agree with Dante. I think Zimmer's a damn good coach. I would like to see him in Chicago with Justin Fields. I think that Zimmer could really help Fields. I think Fields is a much better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. He's definitely got youth on his side, and he's definitely got coachability there. So, but yeah, I think he's done in Minnesota.
AK?
Yeah, I agree too. I think Mike Zimmer's done. He's had his time there. He made it to the championship game with Casey Keenum, and he brought in Kirk Cousins, and they haven't even come close to getting back there. So in my mind, that's a failure, and a fresh start's what he needs. He's still a good coach. Don't get me wrong. It's just he's just ran out his juices in Minnesota. He needs somewhere else.
Tayrock?
There's nothing really to say. Everybody basically broke it down. Now I'm saying it's basically a fact for me too. Like, I just feel like he should have been gone last year. To be honest with me, I feel like he should have just been. He should have had a new start last year somewhere else. But you know how the league is. They want to keep some franchises want to just keep coaches for a while and see how long they could do on a long tenure type of things. But yeah, I think a different scenery, maybe like Joel said, like in Chicago, maybe that could help that offense and Justin Fields and different things like that. But never, like I said, you just never know. Yeah, that could be a good landing spot, but you just never know with this league.
Well, Damian don't agree with me.
I think it's time for Minnesota to get a new coaching change. Somebody more inventive, more younger, possibly. It's all about the younger guys. That's the head coach now. You don't see too many veteran guys in here changing. But I think it's time for Mike Zimmer to go. I think it's time Kirk Cousins to go. For me, honestly, that's just me.
What about Josh Daniels going over to coach Minnesota?
Josh McDaniels.
Josh Daniels, the coordinator for
New England.
Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
He's waiting to take over
for
Belichick.
Right.
How about Keenan Moore to the Minnesota Vikings?
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
I think Kellen Moore is great.
Or Kellen Moore. Sorry.
Kellen Moore. I think Kellen Moore. You know what? Kellen Moore, Eric Bieniemy. I think, and I heard rumors Byron Leftwich is considered a head coaching job. Those wouldn't be bad possibilities. Offensive coordinators too. to help your offense out too. So all three of them will be an option. I definitely love the fact that you brought up Kellen Moore and Eric Bieniemy.
And I want to throw another one out there to you. I know you guys just said about Chicago, but and this might be a little ridiculous, but maybe Joe Brady.
Oh, that's not bad.
Because Fields is a mobile quarterback, and Joe Brady likes mobile.
I personally, the new coach in Minnesota, I'd like to see Martindale there, the Ravens defensive coordinator, go up there because they got a defense right now.
Yeah, that's different.
I'd like to. I think that would be a good. I think that'd be a good scenario for Martindale.
That's good. Let him troll me. His Bears ain't that much better. The Bears ain't that much goddamn better than we are.
He gonna be stuck with Nagy. He gonna be stuck with Nagy. All right, Jay, we talking about fact or fiction. Is Mike Zimmer out of Minnesota?
Make it Dougie P.
Oh, I never thought of that. I forgot Doug need a job.
Yeah.
Peterson definitely still is on the market. That's interesting.
I don't know. I think he'd come back as an OC before he'd take another head coaching job. Like, no lie, I could see him going to Seattle to be the offensive
I don't think so.
There.
That's
so.
You know, another good candidate that's out there for Chicago would be Jay Gruden because, I mean, look what he did with Kirk Cousins at the Washington football team. Man. With that RG3 mess and everything. I mean, Jay Gruden might be able to fix Justin Fields and give him a good opportunity. He has that type of offense.
I mean, what coach do you know that's had a Super Bowl ring and gone to be an OC?
The Super Bowl ring went to OC.
What? After the year he had, he's just going back to just kind of rebound and just get his feet under him again. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. And he even said he'd take an OC job. But if anything, if you're going to throw Doug Peterson if you're going to throw Doug Peterson into any head coaching job, the head coaching position for Doug would automatically be Chicago because he is best friends with the owners of Chicago. So I would not be surprised if Dougie goes to Chicago with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Anything.
What if Dougie P go rock out with Andy Reid again?
Well, does Jason Garrett count as a guy with two rings and goes to be an OC somewhere?
Who's going to hire the clapper?
Right?
Oh, I know, but you know, he's like, name me an OC. Okay, there's one.
Hey, the Giant. I looked at all them Giants videos. Boy, they're depressed. Y'all might well could have kept Jason Garrett if it was gonna get this bad. Y'all should have just kept Jason Garrett. Let him last a whole season.
You're full of good news, Coach. Thanks a lot. Oh man, I'm already suffering over here.
I looked at Adam video. I looked at Miz, Pat, Nate, Logan. Y'all might well could have kept Jason Garrett. I saw that. Let him last a whole season. Before y'all let him go, y'all probably could have let him go. Y'all was gonna be this bad. The offense was gonna get this bad.
Fact or fiction? Will Washington catch the Cowboys and win the NFC East? Dante.
I don't think they would. No, that is a fiction. I don't think they're gonna catch them. Now I think they have a possibility to get a wild card spot. They can catch one of those.
We're gonna beat them.
Wild card spot, but I don't think they're catching Dallas. I think Dallas is gonna win the division. I think it's going to be a close win because Dallas going to kind of struggle getting out on their legs and teeth and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, I think Dallas winning this division. I think the Washington football team has a chance to catch someone in the 6 and 7 spot, catch someone in the wild card, but they're not catching Dallas to win that division. I'm gonna go fiction. They're not catching them.
Joe.
I'm going to go fiction also. Washington has to play a first-place schedule this year. Dallas has to play a third-place schedule. So Dallas does have a few easier teams. Looking at the end of the race here, there's a lot of divisional games coming up, though. They've got the football team, they've got the Eagles, they got the Giants. There's a 4-week stretch where it's all divisional games, and that's where it's going to come down to. Does the football team, the way Minshew played, putting up 38 points, the way Dak and that offense can put up 38 points, can the football team's defense hold those guys back? I don't think so. I mean, they've done a really good job so far, but, these are division games. People get worked up. And in the division, AK said it best. You might as well go in 0-0 as far as the record is, because it's a divisional game. It doesn't matter if one team's 14-1 and the other's 1-14. They're both going to play hard and play. This is going to be a brutal stretch for the football team.
Somebody mad.
I swear Damian must don't have no life. He be on every show, every moment. Damian, what do you do with your life?
I love it though. He talks about this stuff, but I love it though.
He did not like that Zimmer to the Bears, did he? Wow.
He did not.
Listen, there is no way in hell you will ever get me to say that. I am an Eagles fan. I will never, ever, ever say that Washington is going to be anywhere. My brother's a Washington fan. I'm an Eagle fan, and I tell him every day, there's no way in hell you make that work. So, no, that's fiction. They're not going anywhere. Because I will never be caught saying that.
Pepper bag.
I will never say it. You won't hear me. Nope.
No, but AK is going to be real nervous when the Giants play the Eagles again, because he might have to be a Giants fan for a year.
Quit it.
Quit it. Come to the dark side, dude. We don't have cookies. We got rock
just
over here.
Just because I have to represent you for a year, I still get to represent my team as well. So I'm kind of pulling a Dante for 1 year.
I can't. I'm an Eagle fan for eternity.
I know, but I'm saying though, I
remember that bit too.
For one.
Yeah, I remember that bit too. I remember that. I do definitely remember.
Oh, Damian was mad because of Gruden to Chicago.
Jay Gruden. It's not John. It's Jay. I mean, look what he did
at
Washington.
John. It's Jay. It's the other one.
Yeah. He didn't say John.
Yeah, not John Gruden. Oh hell no.
Washington catching Dallas.
No, they having a good run of games right now, but I don't see it happening. What is like 6 games? Like 5 or 6 games left.
Yeah, they're actually 2 games behind.
Okay, I could see Washington out of like 6 games. I could see them winning 3 and them losing 3. So I don't see them catching Dallas at all. Even though I don't want to talk nothing good about Dallas because I can't stand Dallas. F that star, F them blue colors, F all of that. I don't care about a Dallas fan. You can have on blue, and I got on blue now, but if you got on anything blue walking past me, I think you're a Dallas fan. That's just my personal opinion. Like, I don't care. Even when my dad got on something blue, I'm like, what you switching? He said, no, I'm always the Eagles fan. I said, why you got on blue? Like, I don't like Dallas at all. I hate Dallas Cowboys like I hate the Patriots. Like, it's just that thing with me growing up. If you're a Philly fan, I swear, you could come into the Eagles Stadium with a Giants jersey on, Washington jersey, but if you come in there with a Dallas jersey on, it's like total disrespect. But if Washington,
it's ridiculous. I keep telling people it's ridiculous the amount of Dallas fans that live in Philadelphia never stepped a foot in Texas. But y'all like Dallas. I've
been to an Eagles game. I've been to an Eagles game when people had on Giants jersey where you didn't really see too much commotion. Yeah, you don't watch that. But when you come into Philly with a Dallas jersey on, it's like you're saying F Philly. Like that's just how they take it. Like it's just that bad. Even though the NFC East is one of the craziest divisions, but it's just like something about. They let the Eagles. The Eagles let the Giants and Washington. The fans let them slide. But when they come to Dallas, it's just like we hate y'all with a passion. And I'm from the city. I like the Eagles, even though the Eagles not my number one team. I like the Eagles. Don't get me wrong. I want to see everybody beat Dallas. I don't care if you're the worst team in the league. I want to see if Detroit played Dallas. I want to see Detroit win. That's how bad it is. I'd rather see I'd rather see a JV high school team beat Dallas. That's how bad it is with me. But yeah, I don't see Washington catching me.
What kind of predicament are we in this week coming up though? Because Dallas plays Washington, and we actually need Washington to lose this game. Now that makes me sick to even say, because it's like, well, what that means, but excuse me while I go throw up in my trash can, but you know exactly what I'm saying.
I'm still going to take Washington Sunday. I'm still taking Washington on Sunday. So I don't care. I can't pick Dallas. I picked Dallas maybe twice this year because just the certain teams they was playing, and I knew they wasn't going to beat Dallas. But other than that, Washington is capable of beating Dallas. So I'm sorry. I don't want to pick Dallas, even though I know Dallas needs the win to help the Eagles out, but I just can't pick that. It's just cringe my bones when I pick Dallas.
Jay, I already know what you're gonna say for this, but I still want to hear your answer. He's laughing, so that means hell
no. Ain't no way they're catching anybody. They ain't even going to catch us, let alone catch us. You know what I'm saying? They may not even catch us, let alone Dallas. Shit.
This is true. I mean, they are a half. I think one game back behind when it comes to us. I think it's something like that. But the last question of fact or fiction: Russell Wilson will in New Orleans in 2022. Dante.
Right now, until I find out, I'm gonna say fiction. I don't know. Anything can go down in the off season. Just because you hear people say, "Oh, Russell Wilson to New Orleans," that doesn't mean it's gonna happen. So I'm gonna go fiction until he signed off on New Orleans, until it's a trade made. Then I believe it. Right now, I'm not believing no rumors at all. So I'm gonna go fiction.
Joe, what you think?
I'm going to say fiction too. There's just too many. There's 10 teams that need a quarterback, and every year there's always that one team that jumps in on a trade or whatever that just comes out of the blue. If Russell Wilson did go to the football team, I think that makes the football team contenders. They've got a defense. They got a line. They got weapons. They're a quarterback away, maybe a running back also for backup or need. Man, I mean, even Miami could make a push for him if they don't deal on Watson, because we know Miami's looking at Deshaun Watson. If that March is going to be very important, because that's when Watson's going to go to court and get this all taken care of. So until that gets moving and we get more news on that, I'm definitely going to say false on New Orleans, because I don't know how they're going to get him under the cap room. They are strapped right now big time, and there's just too many other needy teams out there that could be in the play for him.
AK?
It is way too soon to tell. I'm with Dante and Joel here. I don't especially like the Washington pick there, Joel. And the only reason I say that is just how dysfunctional their organization is. I don't think Russell would put himself in that situation with all that goes on there, because they are pretty bad up top. You know what I mean?
I know, but if he's told
talent-wise, it's there. I get it. Yes, talent-wise, it's there, but as a PR thing and being a quarterback and a franchise quarterback of that team, man, we all know how that owner is, and he does not take care of you. He really doesn't. Snyder is the worst.
I'm seeing Snyder's probably going to be out the first of the year, is why I say that. I think
would
he's
hope.
going to be forced after everything. After the RG3 book just came out explaining all the sexual stuff that went on in the upper offices and everything, that's going to start hitting media, and I think that Goodell's going to start pushing Snyder to sell the team by January, February.
That would be the best bet, and I would hope that, because, listen, until he's gone, Washington will be at the bottom for the most part, because he holds this team back a lot. He really, truly does. But, no, I can't. It's premature. I mean, in the end, he might work everything out, and he could stay in Seattle. I have no idea. You know, Pete Carroll and him have been together for a long time. You know, that's like a father and son type thing going on right there now. You know, they've been together that long, so who knows? Still up in the air.
Tayrock, what you think?
Fiction. I don't even want to see Russell Wilson in a New Orleans uniform, to be honest with you, because my 49ers will have to play that man again. You play the Saints every year. I don't want to see him again. We already played him twice in the division. At least with the Saints, we only got to play him. We only want to see him once. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's like people were saying, it's too many rumors going around. I can't believe it. Now, if it happens, then I can't really say nothing about it. If it happens, okay, then I got to just look at Russell Wilson in the Saints uniform. But I don't see it happening. Like, you know, the Eagles trying to push for him. The Eagles could get other weapons. They probably could get them. Like, they go on free agency and get another wide receiver or somebody that he can actually throw the ball to besides Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. If he gets somebody that, you know what I'm saying, he's going to need like a Tyler Lockett over there or like somewhat like a DK that can stretch the field besides, because Devontae Smith, he's a rookie wide receiver and he's the best wide receiver on the team. I'm just throwing out a scenario. Like, if Russell Wilson was to look at that, he was like, well, for me to come here, I would have to get like another wide receiver for somebody to help me out. But there's so many teams that need a quarterback. You just never know where that man can land. He can land almost anywhere. They could be the Raiders. He could stay in Seattle, like AK said. He can. Who knows? He might could come to the West Coast. Who knows? Who knows? Like, he might could hit a team. Like, who knows? They could trade. They could give up. Seattle could go Jimmy G for Russell Wilson. Who knows? They might give up to Russell Wilson and Trey Lance to get Russell Wilson. Who knows? Right. You never know what scenarios can happen, because whatever team has more collateral, they might get him, and they got the money and collateral for him, because not so many teams going to have to give, like, if he's not going to sign as a free agent, team's going to have to give up a star and a good player for Russell. You're not just going to get one thing for Russell Wilson. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. You might give up 2 first-round draft picks, a player, and something else for Russell, because he's still a top quarterback on a shitty team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You put Russell Wilson on that Green Bay team with Devontae Adams, they still balling. You put him on Arizona, he balling. Put him on San Fran, he balling. Like, any other teams you really put him on, he's really, well, I'm not Jacksonville, but I wouldn't even disrespect that man like that, or the Jets. I wouldn't even do that to him.
Not even Houston. Don't even bring
not even Houston. You know what I'm saying? So it's potential teams that is out there that can get Russell it all, but it all depends where he feels as though he's going to fit at.
I mean,
Denver?
you could say Cleveland. They don't trust in Baker.
Denver?
Cleveland don't trust in nobody. They just see what's going to happen.
Jay, you think Russell going to be there next year?
You think I think he's going to be in Seattle next year?
No, New Orleans.
No, I don't see that. Definitely not. I just don't see it, man. I could see him going to like New York, or like
No,
or maybe
no.
or maybe Pittsburgh or somewhere like that. You know what I mean? I just don't see him going to the Saints.
Ooh, Pittsburgh for
Maybe
2 years,
Florida.
and then let Pickett
Maybe
learn
Florida.
under him for 2 years. Ooh, that might be dangerous. Ooh.
If he go to Pittsburgh,
Didn't they just give what's his name a contract?
Taysom Hill?
Yeah.
Taysom Hill ain't no QB. We saw that on Thursday.
I know we did, but didn't they just give him a contract though?
Yeah, but only if he's a quarterback. If he's the starting quarterback, he gets that money. If he's not the starting quarterback, it drops to something else.
Yeah, you know,
That's some fucking weird shit.
You know, he play every position on the field: running back, wide receiver, tight end. He punt returns, he blocks kicks, he does it all.
Man,
for me, he's just not a straight up QB.
I hear you.
He's the hybrid I was talking about.
He's a Swiss Army knife.
Pretty much.
No, I agree.
I think every team needs a player like him. Every team has that one player that's just like they could play every position.
Remember Denard
beside.
Robinson?
Yeah, yep.
They called him
giant.
shoestrings. He I think he came out his shoe and still ran for a touchdown like 70 yards. But we got some the leaders here in every category. Just gonna break those down. Of course, Brady. It was Derek Carr, but Brady took over that spot. 34 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 3,771 yards for the old man and Brady. Of course, Jonathan Taylor's leading the league in rushing, 16 touchdowns, 1,348 yards, 241 attempts. That's crazy. I don't think anybody would ever break Eric Dickerson's record. AP and what was his name? Jamal Lewis was yards away from breaking it. I don't think we'll ever.
I think if Derrick Henry wouldn't have got hurt this year, I think he could have came close.
Yep.
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
That man is he's different. He's just different. Like you don't see too many running backs like him.
Like Blunt.
Yeah. He's the better version of Blunt. Like even in college, like even in high school, like I was watching a documentary on Derrick Henry on YouTube. This guy he was making these kids in high school look like they was on Little League, like Pop Warner. Like I was like, how are you doing this? Then he goes to Alabama and does the same thing. Wins the Heisman. Then goes to listen. If it wasn't for Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry would have been an MVP.
Yeah, because I mean, Derrick Henry. Oh my God, he hasn't slowed down. This is his first real injury. All that abuse that man's taken in college and high school and in the pros. And this is his first injury. Wow. He's not
Not only this dude big, but he fast. A 4'4" for a 260-pound running back. Come on, man.
Just imagine if he was a linebacker.
Ooh.
Yeah, you wouldn't come over the middle. Nothing would come past you. Yeah, he would have that middle locked.
He's already a monster. He's already a monster trucking you. Now, if he coming full speed without the ball, oh my God! I'm sorry. You know what I'm gonna do? When he's trying to tackle me, I'm not hitting him one. I'm juking him. I'm doing something where you can't hit me right straight on because you hit me straight on. I already know I'm falling. I'm sorry. It's not happening.
Just laying down. Play dead.
Yeah, I'm a slide.
Just play dead. Be like,
Coach, my groin. I think I pulled it in warm-up. Oh my God!
You seen what happened to Josh Norman? You seen what happened to Josh? He flew off a stiff arm. Just imagine if he hit you.
Did he get stiff arm twice?
Yep.
Yeah.
He got one in Buffalo and one. That's a shame. Josh.
Yeah, I guarantee you, he went home that night and looked at his wife and said, "I'm not a man no more." like that was a grown ass man throwing a child right there.
He was ever since he left Carolina, he's become trash.
Yeah.
Josh Norman stinks.
Josh Norman went home that night and he's like, honey, guess what? I got good news and bad news. I made a highlight. The bad news, I'm the result of that highlight.
Josh Norman is a system cornerback. That's all he is. He's not a man-to-man cornerback. He's a system corner. He's a zone coverage corner. He used to help over the top. That's what Carolina plays all the time. They play the zone defense. So when you play zone, you got a safety over the top each and every time to cover you. So that's why Josh Norman was able to defend. You put him in man-to-man situations, he's gonna get exposed.
He's done, and we got him. Like, what did we get? We only got him because we had injuries because Jason Verrett was hurt and other corners was hurt, so we had to pick up people because we have all of our starting corners and safeties. We would have never even got Norman. I just see him. We picked him up for a need, not for a want, for a need.
Yeah. And then he got hurt like that next game, didn't he?
He got hurt during our game, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think so.
It was the Eagle 49er game he got injured in.
I'm glad we got out that game safe.
Right.
That was Sherman, right?
Cooper Kupp, 100 receptions, 1,366 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp, man's in a different league. This is a different world. Bobby Wagner is leading the league in tackles. Who would have thought? Bobby Wagner,
right,
with Seattle, 107 tackles is leading the league in tackles. TJ Watt 16 sacks this year.
That dude a monster.
Yo, where does rain come from?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How many he got again? What's the stat? How many he got? How many?
22 and a half is the record. Michael Strahan.
Key, how many sacks he got?
16 and a half.
Oh.
That's close. That's close.
Yes, it is.
Trayvon
That's like-
Diggs got 9 interceptions.
That's like 5.5 sacks he need.
Yeah.
TJ Watt
Pittsburgh always get lucky, dude.
I'm
They
sorry.
always get
Get it in
lucky.
the game.
I'm sorry. Even in JJ's Watt prime, I still think TJ is better.
Oh, yeah.
JJ Watt, he had
Oh, yeah.
one season with 19 and a half sacks. TJ Watt gonna probably break that.
Yep.
TJ Watt gonna probably get that. JJ Watt finished with 19 and a half sacks.
I say
JJ Watt was in third place voting in the MVP race. TJ Watt might break that.
I say within the next 2 games, TJ Watt probably gonna have 18, maybe 19 sacks within the next 2 games.
Well, if TJ Watt does break that, he should be MVP. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yes, I can agree. If he does that, I can agree.
You know, I mean, Lawrence Taylor's the last defensive guy, and if he can come into that league in that name and do that, you know, kudos to Watt, man. He's a hell of a baller.
So our topper, appreciate you being in the chat. He said, how do we feel about Trevor Lawrence?
I'm gonna say this right now. When he at Clemson, when he had weapons, he could play. That's still college football. I don't think he has the weapons or the defense to really succeed in Jacksonville, to be honest with you. I still believe he has the potential to be a good quarterback, but just not on Jacksonville, because I don't feel like he has the type of players. He's not used to losing yet. He's not used to playing without the talent. First of all, you don't even have your college running back no more because he got hurt for the whole season. ETN, you played with him in college, so they already had chemistry with that because ETN is a receiving back, so you can always check down to him. But I feel like for Trevor Lawrence to have a successful career in the NFL, is either Jacksonville going to have to get some studs on a team, or Trevor Lawrence is going to lead.
Yeah.
You know, with me, I have never doubted the kid's ability to play. I mean, he only lost 2 college games. You know, so we know he can play. We know he can win, and we know he can throw. So that wasn't ever my question. My question is his mental capability.
Yeah.
You know, because the fact he always has one, can he take the losses and mentally still be okay?
Exactly.
You know, and that's something you're going to figure out coming next year. You know, especially if they do build a team around him. You know, will he be able to get back to being Trevor Lawrence, or is the losses going to get to him, and is he going to get in trouble? That's what I'm more worried about.
For me, you got to get rid of Urban Meyer. That's it. Plain and simple. Urban Meyer's not the coach. He's not the guy. He's not an NFL coach. He wins in college, but I don't think he's I've seen so many college coaches fail in the NFL. You got to get him somebody on there that coaches, that knows how to develop this kid for the NFL. It's a different speed.
Who hasn't really failed in the NFL was Pete Carroll.
I mean, again, the guy's potential, I still think it's something there in Trevor Lawrence. It's just Jacksonville just not going to be a good team for a long time. I mean, there's no defense, receivers, it's not even good. You can't run the football. You don't got an offensive line. Ownership is bad. And you ain't got to worry. I got a better one for you. I don't think you got to worry about Urban Meyer getting fired. I think he'll resign before he really get fired, just to be honest with you. It's just, like I said on a morning show before, Urban Meyer is just a better college coach. He's just a legend in college. I mean, when people got to realize it's different from NFL in college. You have to get players to buy in to come to play for you. Where in college, you can recruit your own players that you want, and they can buy into a winning program easily. They'll buy into Urban Meyer because he's a winning program. He wins games in college. Who doesn't want to be a part of a national championship caliber team? Who doesn't want the aspect of being in the college playoff? Where when you translate that to the NFL, you're not a part of a winning team. You're not a part of a winning team. You got to get good free agents to come in and try to play for you. You got to convince them to come play. That's what's harder on the NFL level. College, you recruit your own guys. You can convince them to come in easily because they're going to want to be a part of a winning environment. They're going to want to compete for playoffs, national championships. So that's easy. That is easy than NFL. I think he'll resign. Before he get fired easily.
Well, that's the thing, Dante, is, you get to go out and pick and choose who you want. So if your quarterback play isn't that great, you can get that stud running back, wide receiver, linebacker. You can finagle it around to cover up a guy's defaults. And he's just not known as a quarterback guru. He's never really developed a quarterback in college. Dwayne Haskins had phenomenal numbers. But then we see what happens when he went from Ohio State with all those track stars at wide receiver, and then he went to the football team, and he struggled with the football team because there's more to it. Reading a professional defense, knowing all the plays. There's 300 plays in the NFL. Then you got 7 or 8 different types of defenses, and you got to know how that play works against all the defenses so that you can audible at the line. Yep. So, there is a different work ethic involved into it. Whereas college, you're going up against a basic defense all the time. It's just like the preseason. It's why these rookies look so good in the preseason. In the NFL, in the talk shows, we're talking up Fields and Lawrence and all these guys. And then when they started seeing schemes and change up single high to triple to double, that confuses them. That's how you confuse a young quarterback, is you change up your defense just before the play. And I'm sorry, but Urban Meyer, does he really know how to do that?
And I'm sorry, man, but
go ahead. My bad.
And no lie, man. In my point of view about Jacksonville, and I believe this is why they will never succeed, is because I feel that owner just uses that team as a tax write-off. I feel he really, truly does not care about that team. You look at all the things he's done. Yeah, I mean, look at all the things he's done over the years and the people he's gotten rid of and how he hasn't done this right and how he hasn't done that right. I mean, hell, they restructured the stadium and put hot tubs in it. Like, who wants to go to the football game to get in a hot tub to watch a football game? I'm there to watch a football game.
Jacksonville hasn't been good since Mark Brunell.
Yeah, the last time Jacksonville was relevant was 2017. They went to the AFC Championship game against the Patriots.
Who was that quarterback?
They went to the AFC Championship with an average Blake Bortles.
Yeah, Blake Bortles.
And something was wrong with that team because Jalen Ramsey wanted out. All of a sudden, they traded him. Everybody else wanted out. From a guy AJ Boye, he was a 1-year wonder with the Houston Texans, and he was very good. All of those people gone in 1 year. Malik Jackson, you had Calais Campbell. He left the next year and went to Baltimore. Something got to be wrong with that
team, bro. That's dysfunction.
And none of our quarterbacks were ever good. Well, you can say they were good in college, but they never been good in big game situations. Something got to be wrong with that. Something got to be wrong with upper management. For you just going to the AFC Championship and all of a sudden Jalen Ramsey wants out because he wasn't getting along with management, and then for that team to break up and you get rid of all of them players just like that, and Leonard Fournette gone and go win a championship with himself, something is wrong with that organization. Something is definitely wrong with that organization.
I can answer that question, Dante. I know the reason behind why all those guys left, and that his name is Tom Coughlin. Because when Tom Coughlin was with the New York Giants.
That's right.
Yep. So when he was with the Giants, remember Strahan and all those guys, those veterans were complaining because if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late. I'm fining you. He was really strict. He enforced codes. But you know what? Because he was that way, we won championships. We were not the problem we are right now. We're a laughing stock right now. We don't have that discipline. I'm not going to lie. That's what it was. These guys knew what was going to happen to them if they didn't perform, if they didn't play, if they weren't on time to meetings, if they screwed around. I mean, I'm sorry, but people aren't going to fall asleep in the film room under Tom Coughlin. All right, you're gone off the team. You ain't even going to get drafted. But when Coughlin was with there, Calais Campbell, Ngakwe, all those guys were complaining about Tom Coughlin because he was such a strict disciplinarian, and they refused to toe the line, so to say. So they said, all right, fine. You can only franchise tag one of us. And there was 3 of us that were picked that year. Who are you going to keep? Yeah. And that's when they started parting ways and everything. And that's what blew up that whole team. Yes.
Whatever happened to Coughlin?
He got fired from the Giants. And then,
I know,
now,
but I'm saying after Jacksonville, when he left there,
his wife has been really, really sick, so he stepped away from the NFL right now to deal with his wife. She's in like hospice or something, but yeah, it's not very good.
Because I was going to ask the question: if he isn't doing anything, would you consider bringing him back as your GM? Like,
a lot of people want him back.
The GM. Because that would be a good fit for you.
I think the Giants should. I'd like to see it.
I think him and Judge would work great together.
We did cover that in the beginning of the show. We all said it's time for Ben to retire. We all answered that. What's going on, Linda? What's going on, Mikey? All right, so we only got a couple, probably got like 10 or 15 minutes left or so.
Hold up. I didn't get to talk.
We be forgetting you there.
Yeah, Jerry, you gotta say in stuff. All right, what you think about that? What's going on?
What I think is he's kind of like in the same boat as Matt Stafford right now. You know what I mean? When he was over at the Lions, you know what I'm saying? Like he gonna be stuck there for a while, and until they trade him, he ain't gonna be nothing. You know, he gonna look good, but that's all that's gonna happen. They ain't gonna win shit.
Looking like sunshine from the rim of the tank.
That's it, man. You know, they might win a few games with him, but that's it. They ain't going nowhere.
Dabo Sweeney lucked up after Deshaun Watson left and he got Trevor Lawrence. He lucked up with that.
Yes.
Speaking of college, we all know what the Final Four is, but we're not going to talk about that Final Four because that'll be like another hour. But we're just going to talk about the Heisman finalists, and that is Saturday. So for the top 4 for the Heisman, of course, you got Bryce Young from Alabama, you got Kenny Pickett from Pitt, C.J. Stroud from Ohio State, and then Adrian Hutchinson from Michigan. Who was winning this Heisman, Dante?
You can either go Bryce Young or Pickett, but I might choose Pickett, man. I'm gonna go with Pickett. I think Pickett is a great option, man. This guy's stats is through the goddamn roof. When I looked at this dude's stats, man, this dude is killing it. Pickett is very good. It wouldn't surprise me if Bryce Young win it, but I'm gonna take Pickett, man. I'm gonna go out on them and take Pickett. That dude is really good, and for Aiden Hutchinson to be part of that as a defensive end, that guy is gonna come in. Whoever gets that guy top 2, top 1 pick, or it's gonna be some trades to try to get that guy. Try to go up and get that guy.
We might trade that.
I need Hutchinson and some green.
I need Hutchinson and Bosa on the same line.
Me and Joe talked about this guy over and over. Aiden Hutchinson is a type of guy that's gonna come on your team and make an impact right away on the field. Yeah. This guy's a beast.
I need Hutchinson and Bosa on the same D line.
Hutchinson's gonna be the real deal, man. He gonna come in and make an impact right out of the gate. I'm telling you.
Yeah, probably. He's a beast. I agree. I still feel like Michigan gonna beat Georgia.
That dude's got a motor, man.
And Joel, you just disappear. You've had enough pass rushers in your time. You just go back to going away. He's not going to be a Giant, so get out of here with that.
No.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll trade up and get him. We'll trade up and get him right before you guys do.
I got a deal. I got a deal in place with Coach. All right, we're checking number 2.
Get out of here.
Like my Niners just tank for the rest of the season so we could get a couple good draft picks, even though this draft is not strong.
Dude, we're 4 wins right now. You really think we're winning another game with that performance we put out on the field Sunday? Really? You really? I think the Jets and Lions could beat us. I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, but for real, Dolphins been looking good, so you all got beat by a good team.
AK, who you got winning this Heisman?
Listen, I'm going with Hutchinson. All right, this kid is the real deal. He is a dog. You know, he is Michigan's defense. I will not lie. He is going to be something special to watch in the NFL. And you know what? I'm tired of seeing quarterbacks and stuff get it all the time. You know, we had Devontae Smith win it last year, and you know, hell with the quarterbacks. Let's see a defensive end grab it. Hutchinson, 100%. Let's go.
So who you got?
I got Hutchinson also. Mitch is going to love me for this right here. Look, these quarterbacks usually have a running back that helps them win the Heisman, wide receivers that help them win the Heisman, offensive line that helps them win the Heisman. Makes them look like heroes. Hutchinson right now has one guy on that defense, Judah. Hutchinson on one side, him on the other. Judah, Michigan safeties and corners are not that good. And these two guys are making that Michigan defense look phenomenal. I've watched like 5 or 6 Michigan games this year. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, when you've got somebody that is in the 90 ratings of rushing the passer and in the 90 ratings of setting the edge and stopping the run, that's few and far between. There's not many guys that can do it. If you look at Kenyon Thibodeau, he is phenomenal at rushing the passer. But I watched him Friday night it was. He could not set the edge and stop the run. He's going to be developmental when it comes to that. He's not a 3-down edge. Hutchinson comes into the league, automatic 3-down edge, automatically secures one position on your line. And if you've got somebody else next to him, look out. That's my feelings on this kid.
No lie. I'm going to go as far as saying Hutchinson will be better than J.J. Watt.
Tayrock.
Could be.
Yeah.
I like Pickett and Bryce Young, but I gotta go agree with them. I think Hutchinson should get it because you don't find too many defensive players with impacts like that. The last Michigan player to win that was Woodson.
Yes.
You don't see too many defensive players win it, and I feel like this is the year another defensive players. I'm not taking credit away from Pickett or Bryce Young or anybody that for a finalist, because even to be a finalist is even tough to get to. But I'm gonna go with the kid Hutchinson.
Yep.
Same here. I'm going Hutchinson too. He deserves it.
Everybody going Hutchinson. I mean, he has been balling those. Like
started
it.
I'll give up Jimmy G. I give up Jimmy G and somebody else to get him in the draft. I give up Jimmy G for Hutchinson. Put Bosa and Hutchinson on the same line. Let's get that Niner line back intact. Let's get it back.
Mitch's ears were ringing. You know who just popped in? You see that?
But AK, tell people where they can find you at.
Oh yeah, you can find me over at the Eagles Uncensored podcast. I am AK Eagles 88. You can find me on Twitter at AK Eagles 88. Tonight at 9 p.m. I'm starting my new podcast over there, and it's a conspiracy theory podcast. So definitely tune into that if you guys like conspiracy theories or just listening to interesting stuff. I pretty much talk Eagles football, but I know all 32 teams.
He talks a lot of shit.
Yeah, I guess so.
You said it's AK what?
At AK Eagles 88.
Okay, AK Eagles 88. All right. Okay.
Yeah. I got friends and all. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. No, they can go.
Jay, where can they find you at?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Well, Friday nights I'm with AK actually on the late night show. They can also find me at Backyard Birds Podcast. That's pretty much it.
All right, guys. So that was another show for the 7200 Seconds podcast. Again, we're usually on Tuesdays at 8:00, but I got something to do tomorrow, so I'll not be available. So this is why you get that Monday edition. But for Dante, myself, Tayrock Talking Sports, and Joel, the links are in the chat. So make sure you subscribe to everybody here on the Spotlight Sports Network. Again, we was on all platforms tonight. We was on the Spotlight Sports Network, Coach Dante's channel, my channel. We was on ASAP Sports Network. All the links are in the chat and in the description. Make sure you subscribe to everyone here. And Make sure you come back on tonight on the network at 10 o'clock. We got Take Two with Jonathan and Jake, so you don't want to miss that back here at 10 o'clock. We got stuff going on all week here on the network, so make sure you stay tuned. Any last words before we roll out?
Yeah, I was wondering why the show was on today. I was like, hold on, they doing the show today? I was like, Keith must got to be doing something because this show is never on Monday. I'm used to being on
Tuesday. Never on Mondays. Oh, and Damien got last words. He said, "Screw Zimmer and Gruden."
But it's definitely good to see Joel again. It was definitely good to see Joel again. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Definitely
You
saying,
too, buddy.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Definitely to see you again. Maybe slide over. You might jump on mine or jump on yours. You know what I'm saying? I'm always willing to collaborate with anybody. But yeah, I'm definitely loving the way this network is growing. I'm about to have some content. Me and my brother was actually talking. I'm about to get my logo made. I'm about to have some more content on my page. So I'm about to start getting up there with my fellow mates now because I got to do a lot of my stuff at work. That's where I be at. So y'all definitely going to see more of my content. You know what I'm saying? Still I'm saying like, subscribe, share for all the people that's on that actually is on the show and everybody that's on each network. But that's my final words.
Yeah, and I appreciate you, Key and Dante, for having me on tonight. You know, mad respect for you two, and thank you for all the intros you do, Key. I appreciate it, all the help. And Dante, my brother, appreciate you, man.
You're welcome, man.
All right, guys. That was it.
I just want to
you got something, my bad. Go ahead.
You good. I just want to thank y'all, man, for being here. Everybody's in the chat. Shout out to everybody. Spotlight Sports Network, man. Again, shout out to Key. Been helping me throughout this whole process. Thank goodness that Joe was on the network with us. AK Pop will be on sooner or later with us, man. So I thank y'all, Tayrock, man, everybody, man. So I thank y'all so much for coming on, man. It's been really fun. I've been really having a lot of fun since I've been a part of this network. And, you know, we're here to help each other grow and help the channels grow, help each other out too, and have fun. Not just about debating, but we just have fun doing this. And this is what we do as sports analysts. We want to be better than ESPN. We want to be better than everybody, all the shows. And this is where you come to, Spotlight Sports Network and ASAP Sports Network. And I shout out to everybody, man, for coming on the channel with us, man.
Joe, any last words?
Yeah, I'm going to agree, man. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that I'm able to be a part of this. I'm loving how everyone helps each other. Everyone's friendly. We all give our opinions. Nobody gets upset about it. Everyone takes it and we discuss it like, you know, civil human beings, and that just lead by example for other people. You don't have to love the same team, but you can still get along and show that respect for each other, because respect is definitely earned and not given. And I do that a lot on my channels, remind people of stuff like that. But, you know, make sure you check out AK, because you're probably going to hear something about Chunky Soup tonight, I'm betting. And then
actually, no. The first episode's on Bohemian Grove in California.
Oh, and Damien, you know what? You could always get this guy for your next coach too if you don't like Zimmer and Gruden. I'm just giving you options, okay?
To Chicago, let's go. But
we'll have a fit.
Make sure y'all again subscribe to everyone here in the description. We are live all the time. Again, come back here on the network, 10 o'clock, Take Two with Jonathan and Jake. They're going to be here with their topics. Thank you guys. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we'll see y'all in another video.
Send me the link. I'll be back. Word.